Brian, I just want to ask, yeah, for your friends who are attending physical, where is their classroom? Do you know?
We are coming now.
Oh, okay, you're coming now. Okay, sure.
Yeah. Sir. Sir, you here, sir?
Oh,
Can you hear me?
yes, yes.
The venue is 205 or
No,
008.
008. Ground
Okay.
floor. Ground floor. I'll be
Thank you, sir.
Yep, come in. Hello. Hello. Oh, so this is Brian. First time, huh? First and last time. Okay. Hello. Wow, I wasn't expecting this many, but okay. Okay, right. One thing I will say, yeah, I will write on this side of the classroom, so people, you can move the furniture. Okay, you can move your tables closer as long as you move it back later. Okay, so yeah, do the moving if you want. Because I'll be writing on this side, like my camera can only capture here, it won't be able to capture that. Okay. People over there, you will have to look all the way here, okay, when I write something. So I would recommend shifting to this side of the room. No plans on moving? Okay, right. If you can't see, just yell at me, okay? Just ask like, what are you writing? Any more people coming for face-to-face? No, yeah, okay. So can we start? Okay, right, so last tutorial, okay, so I'm very happy you guys decided, more people decided to come back, okay. One thing I would recommend, yeah, is you have your exam timetable, you have your exam venue, right? Okay, the location. I suggest if you this is like the first time you're on campus, okay, I know most of you have come back at some point, go walk around and see where your exam venues are, okay? Because you will probably have to be there quite early. They won't allow you to, everyone just rush into the exam hall at the same time. So it's better to, go early so that you know where everything is, okay? Right, okay, I have started the recording. Okay, so today, no presentations. I will go through everything. If we have time, we will do the past year questions, okay? For those of you who have looked at it, you will notice that actually they look very much like your tutorial questions. It's like the tutorial questions are the past year questions, okay? So I have picked those that I think people are slightly weaker in, okay? But if say you don't want to do question 2, that's okay. We'll just move to question 3, okay? Something like this, all right? Now, let us just quickly start with attendance. Okay, just give me a minute, yeah? Okay, Brian. Okay, Gui Lian. Okay, nice to meet you. Eileen. Nice to meet you. Jia Hui.
Morning, sir.
Morning. Afternoon. Yes, good afternoon. Edward Yu Shen. Okay, nice to meet you. Julia.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ka Yi. Yes. Okay, Sinro.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Esther. Thank you. Jie Liang. Okay. Chun Xian.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jinan.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Min Yu. Min Yu. Oh, sorry. Looking in the wrong place. Wen Qian.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jun Xiang.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hong Sheng.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Martin.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Kian Fu. Oh, thank you. Sorry. I always look in the wrong place. Wan Qi.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Queenie. Thank you. Yao Kwan.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Rachel.
Yes, sir.
Jun En. Thank you. Oh, okay. Xin Yi.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Kaiman.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. Okay. Everyone's here. Okay. Right. Okay. Just let me share my screen. Tutorial questions. Okay. Now, before we start the tutorial, I need to mention that there are things that you will not be able to do yet because we haven't done the last lecture. Okay. We haven't done the last lecture. So I think there is no point me explaining it to you if you haven't done the lecture before. So we will skip those questions, but I will put the answers online. So after the lecture, you try the questions, you can refer to them, okay? And as usual, okay, you can always email me if you have any questions, all right? Or ask during the lecture itself, okay? Yeah, I need to arrange a Q&A session, okay? But that will be a bit later, closer to the exam, okay? Okay, big enough for people at the back. Okay, right, let's go through the questions, yeah? Okay, let's start with the MCQ, okay? Now, I think this is the first time we have quite a lot of people, okay? Now, the way I do MCQs face-to-face, okay? most of the time it's Edward. Edward just yells the answer at me. But people at the back, you can, make a sign, okay, like A or B or whatever. Okay, people have done that. It works, all right. C, I think they did this for D. Okay, you can do whatever you want as long as you can communicate. If you don't want to shout, okay. If I understand what you're saying, then it works. Okay, right. So let's take a look at question 1. Okay, so you have exhibit 1. What is the opportunity cost of 1 unit in Y in the United States? Okay, wait, yeah. Okay, so you've decided to do that. Fine with me. Okay, that's fine. Okay, now, okay, let us take a look at how you do it, yeah? Okay, so I will reproduce part of the table on the board. Okay, wait, let me write this somewhere else so that I remember what questions I asked you to do. Okay, so then I will pick the first 2 rows, okay, for United States. Okay, US, okay, and then you have goods X and Y. Okay, people online, can you see the board clearly? People here don't count yet. Okay, right, okay, thanks. So you have 120 and then 80, 0 and 10, okay? So how do you look at the opportunity cost? We want Y, right? So if you want to produce more Y, you cannot give up on Y. You have to give up the other thing, which is X. Okay. So first we look here. You increase it by 10. Okay. So how much of X do you have to give up? Okay. You give up 40. Okay, minus 40. Can see, yeah, people at the back. Okay. So in other words, we can write it this way. 10Y is equal to 40X. Okay, so we want 1Y. So Y equals to 40 over 10X equal to 4X. Okay. Now this is how you need to write in the exam. Okay, when you're answering questions on opportunity cost. Okay, which I will go through again. But this is the rough format. You need to tell me this, and then you simplify and you get your answer. Okay, makes sense? Okay, so C is the correct answer. Okay, 40. Okay, now, what about the opportunity cost of Y in France? Yes, A, okay. 1X, yes, that's correct. Okay, so basically the same thing, okay. When you increase Y from 0 to 20, X decreases from 60 to 40. So plus 20 on one side, minus 20 on the other, you just get 1, okay. So A is the correct answer. Okay, now, or rather, France has the lower opportunity cost in which good? Okay, yes, it's B. Okay, because this is for the US, yeah. Okay, 1Y equals 4X. This is for the US. Okay, 1Y equals to 1X. This is for France. Okay, so obviously for France, you need to give up fewer units of X. Okay, you need to give up fewer units of X in order to produce Y. Therefore, France has lower opportunity cost in Y. Okay, now, question 4. Okay, this one you don't actually need to calculate if you remember what I told you about opportunity cost. Okay, what do you think is the answer? Okay, donkey, yeah, because you just have to, okay, there are 2 ways of remembering it. One, you just remember if one country has lower opportunity cost in X, the other country must have lower opportunity cost in Y. Okay, so that's one way to remember it. Another way is to take these and flip it around. Okay, so 1 y. Okay, this is for the US, yeah. Okay, 1y equals to 4x. Right? So 1x equals to 0.25y. Okay, because you take 1 divided by 4. All right, so this is for the US. For France, okay, 1x is just 1y. So the US wins for x. Okay, make sense? All right, so that is question 4. These questions are basically to train you how to answer the essay questions, okay, which we will come to in a bit. Okay, people online, any questions so far? You know what they did? They take this monitor and they lock it onto the table, you know. So now I cannot rotate it so that I can see the screen from there. I don't know whose genius idea it is. Okay. Any questions so far? Everything okay? Okay, let's continue with question 5. Okay, now question 5, new industries. They need opportunity to grow up. Which argument are we referring to? Okay, it's the infant industry argument. All right, so I will try to list down the keywords, okay, so that you can match it to the argument, okay? So whenever you see new, okay, need to grow, okay, this is infant industry. Okay, so that's B. Okay, national defense, as long as you see defense, then national defense. Okay. Okay, so let's see if we need others along the way. All right. Okay. Yep. Okay, never mind. We'll come back to the rest later on. Okay. Now, question 6. What is a quota? Sorry, I heard something. Yeah. Okay. Quota legal limit. Okay. So, okay. Let's do question 7 first, and then I will summarize. Okay. What is a tariff? Okay, Brian, be careful, yeah? Who gets the tariff? Okay. Yeah, okay. Now, say quota is easy. Quota is just a limit on the quantity, okay? Now, tariff, you need to be slightly careful because you need to check who gets the tariff, okay? Tariff is imposed on imported goods. Think about your Japanese cars, okay? They are imported into Malaysia. The Malaysian government places a tariff on them. Now, a tariff serves to increase the price, right? So it wouldn't make sense if you put a tariff on domestic goods. That will make our local Malaysia producers, okay, think about Proton and Japanese cars, right? If you raise the price of Proton, then even fewer people will want to buy Proton, then it makes no sense. But if you increase the price of Japanese cars, say Toyota, then maybe some people might think, oh, it's expensive, therefore I buy Proton. Okay, the whole reason we have a tariff is to help our locals. Okay, you want to help Proton, you don't want to help Toyota. You want to make it such that people don't want to buy Toyota. Okay, yeah. Okay, so basically you have two ways of trade restrictions, right? Okay, so for quantity, if you want to control quantity, okay, you use a quota. If you want to increase the price, okay, you use a tariff. Okay? So that's how you differentiate, okay, depending on what you want to do. All right. And for this one, okay, remember we want to increase the price of imports. Okay, this is important, yeah. We want to increase the price of imports. Okay. Now, question 8. Okay. Why do countries specialize in the goods in which people have their comparative advantage in? Okay, this one is more of a philosophical question. Okay, now B is the correct answer. This one, don't think too hard. Okay, now why do people do many things? It's because of profit. Okay, why do sellers, sell you fake stuff? Okay, you go to Chi Chong Gai, okay, everything there is fake. You don't even have to think if anything there is authentic. It is fake. Why do people make fake stuff? Why do people sell you laptops that they know will spoil in like maybe 2 months? Okay, it's all because of profit. Okay, in the same way, why do countries trade and specialize in the good that they are good in? Is because they can produce it at a lower opportunity cost, which increases the profit. If you produce the good which has higher opportunity cost, that actually reduces your profit, right? You have to give up a lot just to produce that thing. Then it doesn't make sense. Okay, in economics, we always go for more profit, the more the better. Okay, because we assume everyone wants to maximize their profit. Okay, so question 8, the answer is B. Okay, question 9 is for this Thursday's lecture, we skip. We also skip 11. We also skip, 9, 10, 11, we skip. Okay. If I don't post the answers, please remind me. Yeah. Okay. So let me just note down. Should I type in the chat? We skip 9, 10, 11. Actually, all the way to 14. 9 to 14, we skip because we haven't covered it yet. Okay. And anyone here has actually read the slides for this Thursday's lecture? All right, okay, then it doesn't make sense to go through the questions now. Okay, you can try it on your own. Okay, and I will post the answers there so you can refer to it. Okay, okay, we skip that for now. Okay, people online, we will skip 9 to 14. All right, basically because we haven't covered it. Okay, this is basically because we have 13 tutorials but 14 lectures, so the last one you don't get a real tutorial for. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. Then let's just move on to the essay questions. This looks like a bird, basically went to the toilet on the whiteboard. I can't rub it up. I don't know why. Okay. Right. Okay. Essay section. Okay. Now 1A we cannot do. 1A we cannot do yet. Again, because we don't cover it until this Thursday. 1B is basically describe trade restrictions, tariffs, and quotas. Okay. So I don't think a diagram is needed. Give me a minute. Okay, right. So what do you need to do for 1B? Yeah. Okay. Okay. 1B. Okay. There are only 2 types of trade restrictions. Okay, at least based on what we've covered in this course. Okay, there are actually more, just that we don't cover them. Okay, there are 2 types. You just need to define them and you explain how they work. Okay. Yeah. So you have tariffs. Okay. Now you define them. Okay. You explain how they work. Okay. How does a tariff work? It increases the price. Okay. You can get this on the lecture slides, yeah? Okay, and there are two types of tariffs. You explain what they are. Okay, so all these you can get from the lecture slides as well. Okay, but basically these are the main things you need to cover. For quota, okay, again you define it. Quota is a bit simpler because there are no. It's not that you have different types of quotas. You just have to explain what it is, and you explain how it works. Okay. Okay. Basically, it restricts supply, reduces supply, increase the price. Okay. Now you will see here that a quota also increases the price. Okay. Now, but this is a side effect. Okay, this is a side effect. The tariff immediately adds to the price. Okay, if the price of a car is 500 ringgit, okay, a tariff of 50 ringgit just raises the price directly to 550. A quota first reduces the supply, only that the side effect is an increase in the price. Yeah. So the main target of the quota is this, reduces the supply. It's just that because of how supply and demand works, the price will also go up. Okay. Now, how does it work? Not part of the syllabus, but I'm just going to show you. Price, quantity, okay, supply, demand, supply. Now, this is your equilibrium quantity, right? Okay, this is your equilibrium quantity. Suppose you impose a quota here. Okay, suppose the equilibrium quantity is 200. Okay, but the government says you can only sell something like 100. Okay, suppose, yeah, quota of 100. Okay, so 100. Now here, okay, what is the price? The price will go up to here. Okay, so this is the new price, P1. This is the old price, P. Okay. Now, this is not examinable, yeah? I'm just showing you how it works, okay? When you impose a quota, the price will go up, but the main focus is still our quantity, okay? So that's basically how you have prices, tariffs and quotas. Okay, makes sense? Can people see from over there? Can you? Okay. Right. Now let's go through question 2 together. Okay, for question 2, we will skip B and C. Okay, because again, we haven't covered it. We will just do A, 1, and 2. Okay, can I wrap this up? Okay. Okay, now let me just write down the table. Okay. What are the numbers? 150, 90. It cannot last. China doesn't produce grapes. Okay, that makes no sense. Okay, all right. So we have these numbers. Okay. Right. Let us take a look at part 1. Okay, part 1. Who has absolute advantage in grapes and textiles respectively? For this question, you need to treat them separately. You need to first look at grapes, and then you look at textiles. Okay, you must not assume that one country will have absolute advantage in everything. It could be the case, but it may not be the case. All right. In this case, one country has absolute advantage in only one good. Okay, so you need to treat them separately. You need to write 2 sentences. Okay, so I would say play safe on this. Okay, don't assume. Check the numbers. Okay, so okay. Just give me a minute. I need to check what exactly you need to write. Okay, now for grades, who has comparative advantage? Yep, okay, China. For textiles? Okay, right, so let's deal with China first. Okay, so first of all, the first thing you need to say, okay, the first thing you need to say is China has absolute advantage okay, in grape production. Now, notice that it says identify but 4 marks. 4 marks, that means 2 and 2. This will give you 1 mark. You need to now explain why is that the case. Why do you think China has an absolute advantage in grape production? So you just say this is because China can produce more grapes than Turkey. Okay, so 1 mark for telling me who has the absolute advantage, 1 mark for explaining it, 2 marks. Okay, you do the same thing for textiles. Okay, so you do the same thing for textiles. Okay, Turkey. Okay, okay, has absolute advantage. Okay, in textile production. Okay, Turkey has absolute advantage in textile production. Why? Because Turkey can produce more textiles than China. That's all. Okay, so this is because Turkey can produce more than China. All right, so again, you need to tell me who and what. Okay, so Turkey more. Okay, Turkey has the absolute advantage because Turkey can produce more. Okay, so 1 mark, 1 mark, 4 marks in total. Sorry? Oh, as in like China can produce 150 compared to 90 for Turkey. I don't think so. This one is quite obvious. Okay, because you just look at the numbers, all right? But for comparative advantage, we will have to write the numbers down. Okay? So I'll just give people a bit of time to take it down if they need to. Okay, one thing I have seen people do, yeah, okay, my students, one thing people have done is they put the numbers in brackets. So they might write something like China can produce more grapes. Okay, they write 150. Okay, then Turkey 90. Okay, if you want to do this, also can. Basically, no harm done unless you write the wrong number. Okay, so if you write 90 here and 150 there, then it's like obviously we don't know what was going on in your head. Okay, so yeah, if you want to write it down, can, just don't make a mistake. Okay, that is generally true for most things. Okay, if you want to draw diagrams, can, just don't draw the wrong diagram. Okay, so any questions on this? Okay, absolute advantage, very straightforward. You just look at who has more. Okay, and that will be it. Okay, now let's do part 2. You will see part 2 has 8 marks, yeah, because you need to do the same thing for both goods. Okay, so 4 marks for each good. Okay, can I wrap this up? Okay, let's take a look at grapes first. Okay, let's take a look at grapes. Okay, right. Now we need to calculate the opportunity cost for both China and Turkey for grape production. Okay, so we know that China, okay, if you don't produce grapes, you produce textiles. Okay, so for China, okay, So 150 grades. Okay, you can write just the alphabet, yeah? Unless, of course, it's something like cars and computers, okay, both C, then you cannot write C and C. Otherwise, it's like gila lah. What are you writing about? But here is G and T, so it's okay. So you can just write G. Okay, 150G equals to 75T. Right? Okay, now which one are we looking for? We're looking for G. Okay, we're looking for G. So you want to end up with 1G. Okay? Whatever you're looking for, you want to end up with 1 unit of that thing. Okay? So, right, you have 150G equals to 75T. Okay, divide both sides by 150. Okay, otherwise this one throw to the right-hand side. You get 75 over 150T, which is equal to 0.5T. Right? Okay, 0.5. Okay, so this is your opportunity cost for China in terms of grades. For each additional unit of G, okay, or each additional unit of grades, you need to give up 0.5 units of textiles. Okay, so this is the opportunity cost. Make sense? Okay, now we do it for Turkey. Okay. Okay, you do it for Turkey. Turkey is 90G equals to 180T. Okay, so we know what to do by now. 1G, okay, is 2T. Okay, now, therefore, who has the comparative advantage here? Yeah, China, because China has a lower opportunity cost of 0.5 compared to 2 for Turkey. Okay. And then okay. So wait, let me see. Okay. Now, depending on the marking scheme, okay, I cannot say this like a 100% rule because it depends on the marking scheme, okay, because different lecturers, when they set the exam, they have different levels of strictness. Now, if you can calculate this, you just have to write this out in words, okay? You just have to write this out in words. Okay, so how do you write this? To produce one more unit of grades. Okay. China gives okay. Yeah, okay. China gives up 0.5 units of textiles. Okay. But Turkey gives out 2 units of textiles. Okay, so this is how you write it out in words. Okay, depending on the exam, okay, depending on the exam and the marking scheme, sometimes just doing this is enough. Okay, just doing the calculation is enough, but in some cases you also need to write it out in words. Okay, so it's best you just learn how to write it out as a sentence. Okay, so what do you need to do? You need to tell me what good you're looking at, who gives up how much, and who gives up how much. Okay, you just basically fill in the blanks. Make sense so far? Okay, yeah. Okay. Now, once you have this, you just have to say, okay, I will write it on the top. Okay. Now you just have to say, China has comparative advantage. Okay, in grade production. Okay, now, why? Because it has lower opportunity cost. Okay, as it lower opportunity cost. Okay, so this gives you 2 marks. This will give you 2 marks. Okay, but in these 2 marks, I'm looking for who has comparative advantage and why. Okay, so 1, 1, and here I'm looking for 1 here and 1 here. Okay, now, of course, if you don't tell me what good it is, okay, you probably will lose some marks because I don't know what you're writing. Okay, so it is important you tell me what good you're looking at, then you give me the opportunity cost, and then you say who has lower, therefore who has comparative advantage. Okay, so in other words, you can summarize your answer, yeah, your structure of your answer. It goes something like this: opportunity cost. Okay, you need to show the calculation. Okay, and then you tell me who has lower opportunity cost, therefore who has the comparative advantage. Okay, so this is roughly how you can structure your answer. You do your calculation, you tell me who has the lower opportunity cost, therefore who has the comparative advantage. Okay, we mostly look for the content more than the way you write. So as long as you write something like this, or even if you write something like this, as long as I see the ideas there, you are fine, you get the mark. Okay. Now, this is just half of the question here. Okay, this is just half of the question. This will just give you 4 marks in total. Okay. But before that, does this make sense? Any questions? Okay. So I would strongly suggest sticking to this format. Yeah. Okay. Now there are many ways of answering a question, but there are easier ways to read an answer, and there are more difficult ways to read an answer. So you know there are some people who will get all the content, but it's just like rojak. Okay. If it's like rojak, it will be very difficult to give marks, and it may be possible to miss marks as well. But if your your answer is neatly laid out like fish and chips, okay, you have the fish, you have the chips, you have some salad, it will be very easy because I will just see, okay, you write this 2 marks, you write this 2 marks. I don't even have to look at 1 and 1 because once it's there, it's clear. Okay, but if you just jump out everything, then I will have to look very carefully to see, did you get this, did you get this, did you get this? Okay, so it's best to stick to a way that is easy to understand. So something like this will be helpful. Okay, something like ask yourself a series of questions, then it will be easier to write it out. Okay, now, okay, I don't think I need to do the calculation again, but basically you just have to do it for textiles. You will notice for China, the opportunity cost is 2 units of grape. For Turkey, it's half a unit of grape. Therefore, okay, you write this out. Therefore, Turkey has comparative advantage in textiles as it has lower opportunity cost. Okay? So you just have to do it for both goods and get 2 sets of answers, and that's it. Okay? Any questions? Everything okay? People online, any questions? Like people who are online, yeah, okay, not people who are here and online. Okay, right, so we are skipping B and C because we haven't covered that yet. Okay, now question, can I wrap this up? Okay, right. For question 3, it looks very scary, but it's not. You just have to look at the lecture slides. Okay, so let me go to the lecture. Okay, before that, the question is explain briefly any 3 benefits of international trade. Okay, Now, so let us go to our lecture slides and let's see where we can get the answer. Trade, national trade. Okay, so you just have to give this slide as your answer. Okay, that will be your answer to question 3. Okay, what are the benefits for trade? Okay, countries are different. Okay, countries are different. That is a reason for trade. Okay. Yep. Okay. And to produce different things, you need different technologies or combination of resources. And people just like imported goods. Okay. So you just have to give the slide as your answer for question 3. Okay. For question 4, give me a minute. Okay, let us go back to the slides. Okay, question 4, explain the differences between absolute advantage and comparative advantage. Basically for this one, you just need to give the definition. You don't need to explain anything else. Okay, so now let me just give you some keywords here. Okay. This is running out. Okay. Now, absolute advantage. Okay, absolute advantage. Okay. It is the situation where a country has total advantage in producing goods with fewer resources. So the keywords I'm looking for, total advantage. Okay. Produce with fewer resources. Okay, so these are the keywords I'm looking for. The best thing is just to memorize, then you don't have to worry about keywords. Okay. For comparative advantage, this one is very, very easy. I must see lower opportunity cost. Okay. Now, why am I saying this? Because sometimes, okay, when people memorize the definitions, they change it to their own words. Okay, but when you change things to your own words, the meaning sometimes gets lost. Okay, the meaning is lost. So the best way, just memorize the definition. Because don't forget, this is a face-to-face exam. If you manage to memorize something from the lecture slides, no one will say you are copying. Okay, in some courses, people will say, "Oh, you cannot, copy bulat from the lecture slides." But that was back when people were doing exams online, and we know for a fact that people will cheat by looking at the lecture slides. Okay, even though we say cannot refer to lecture slides, we know people still do it. So sometimes some lecturers will say, if you copy bulat, you will not get the full marks. But in this case, okay, it's a face-to-face exam. If you manage to give me everything bulat, I will be very happy. Okay, but unless you somehow find a way of cheating, okay, but so yeah, so for, in this case, okay, I know because you are literally banking on being able to remember the lecture slides in the exam hall. So if anything, you guys did pendidikan moral, right? Okay, for SPM, like the first nilai murni kepercayaan kepada Tuhan. Remember, you have kata kunci keyakinan wujudnya Tuhan sebagai pencipta alam, blah blah blah. It's kind of the same thing here. Okay, we need to make sure that there are things that you hit. The rest of the things, okay, maybe your grammar's not that good. Okay, we don't really care. But I must see things like fewer resources, lower opportunity cost. Okay, So yeah, that's basically the key points that you need to take note of. Like for GDP, remember the definition for GDP, there are 4 ingredients: total market value, all final goods and services, no intermediate goods, okay, produced annually within a country's borders. 4 ingredients, okay? So I think maybe it's helpful, if you break down your definition, it might help you remember is more better than just memorizing the whole chunk, okay? All right, okay, so that is question 4. Okay, now question 5, I will leave you to, not leave you. Okay, I think I want you to do the calculation, okay, and then we will, write it out in words together. Okay, so I'll give you a few minutes if you haven't tried it to at least do the calculation and figure out the answer. Okay, I will draw the table on the board. What do they have? iPad and iPod. Sure. Have you guys had lunch? Okay, I'm also very hungry. Usually I don't have classes on Monday, but just because tomorrow's a public holiday, that's why we're doing this replacement. But at least I don't have to get up early tomorrow. Otherwise, we would have an 8 a.m. class tomorrow. Right? I don't know who was it that came up with, 8 a.m. Like they should be made to do 8 a.m. every day of the week and 5 p.m. every day of the week. Then they will know how terrible 8 a.m. is. Yeah. Are we going too quickly through the material? Too fast or too slow? Oh, sorry? Okay. Have you all been briefed by your program leader on exam regulations? Not yet. Okay. Yeah, basically in the exam hall, yeah, okay. Now you are allowed to bring your phone in, Like when I first heard you can bring your phone in, I was like, oh, like bring phone in. Okay, now the thing about if you bring your phone in, make sure you turn it off, because if you leave it on, yeah, and it rings or something, you kantoi, you drop. I think they have different levels of penalty, yeah, okay. The worst one, if you're found cheating, I think the whole sitting, yeah, okay, like if you have like 6 papers that semester, everything 0. That one's really bad. That one is if you get caught cheating, like you have notes or something. I think if your phone rings, I think that's one of the lighter ones, okay? If your phone rings or they see that you didn't turn it off, you drop 1 grade. So like if you were supposed to get A for your ABBE 1033 economics, you drop down to a B. Okay, so yeah, be really, really careful with all the different rules and things. Like you cannot open your exam booklet, okay, your question paper, but you can fill in the cover, the answer booklet, the cover. You have to fill in your index number, no names, no student ID. Yeah, okay, you know your student ID, which is something like 20, 20, 21. Okay, 21 WBD. Okay, and then you have 5 numbers, right? Do not fill this in. You have an index number that will appear on your exam authorization slip. Okay, that is like the document that you must protect with your life. Yeah, okay, because without it you cannot enter the exam. Actually, you can enter. It's just that you will have some trouble. Okay, you will have to like say, sir, I don't have my exam authorization slip. Can you please give me a temporary one, something like this? So might as well just get it done. Okay, you can don't bother laminating it. Yeah, it's a one-use thing. Okay, after this exam paper, you can throw it away. Okay, so yeah, basically be prepared. Don't be late, and double check everything before you leave your house. Okay. Yeah, because there are lots of rules. Okay, and especially now with all the COVID restrictions and everything. Okay, it will be even more troublesome than usual exams. Okay, now anyone needs more time on the questions? Okay, do you at least have the answer on like which country has comparative advantage and what? Okay, right. Let's do the question. Okay, 5A. Okay, 5A. Okay, from here, it is quite obvious that South Korea has absolute advantage in both iPods and iPads, right? Because the numbers are just bigger, they can produce more. Okay, now this is it. Notice that this time it's a 3-mark question. Okay, 3-mark question. In the previous case, it was 4 marks, right? Okay, that was because we had 2 different countries for absolute advantage. Therefore, you had to write 2 sets of answers. But here you just need 1. Okay, so you can just write something like this. Not Japan. Korea has absolute advantages in both iPads and iPods. Okay, now why South Korea can produce more? And okay, I'm just thinking whether I want to give you the produce more with given resources or produce with fewer resources. Wait a minute, yeah? Okay. Can produce both goods with fewer resources okay. So basically what we said earlier, you must tell me, okay, which country and why. Okay, so when you're answering absolute advantage, okay, which country? Okay, and the next thing you need to mention is can produce with fewer resources. Okay, essentially this is why. Okay, so for absolute advantage, you just need to ask yourself 2 questions. Okay, but depending on how it works, sometimes you might have to do this twice because you have different countries. Okay. Okay, everyone done? Okay, now let us take a look at the now let's take a look at part 2. Okay, part 2. Okay, part 2, they're asking for iPads only. Okay. Okay, iPads only. Okay. Now, first of all, what is the opportunity cost of iPads for South Korea? You can type the number in the chat if you want. 1.25. Okay, right. So you just have to write South Korea gives up 1.25 iPods to produce one more iPad. Okay. What about Japan? Okay. Japan gives up 0.96 iPods to produce one more iPad. Okay, so this is the first part. You write out the opportunity cost first. Okay, now, so who has lower opportunity cost? Okay, Japan has lower opportunity cost. And iPad production. Okay, so now who has the comparative advantage? Should be obvious by now. Japan as well. Okay, so therefore, Japan has comparative advantage. Right, the first question is yes, iPads. Okay, so again, 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark. Okay, so you start off again, you ask yourself, yeah, what are the opportunity costs? You write it down. Okay, then you ask yourself who has lower opportunity cost? You write it down. And therefore you ask yourself, therefore, who has the comparative advantage? You write it down. That will give you your full answer. Okay, miss anything, you lose marks. Yeah? Okay, so this one is, how should I put it? Like the way you answer this question is basically you just stick to the formula and that's it. Okay, the formula in terms of, like what you need to write. Okay, I'll give people a bit of time to note that down. Okay, everyone done? Okay, now let us just flip everything around to do iPods this time. Okay. Let me just erase the relevant bits. Okay. Okay, now let's fill in the blanks. Okay, we want iPods this time. Okay, one more iPod. Okay, now, how many iPads does South Korea give up? 0.8, was it? 0.8, right? Okay, 0.8 iPads Okay, 320 divided by 400, 0.8. Yeah, 8/10, yes. Okay, 0.8 iPads. Now what about Japan? Okay, this one I cannot calculate off the top of my head. 1 point. Okay, yeah, 2 decimals is enough, yeah. Okay, class 2 decimals is enough. 1.04 iPads. Produce one more iPod. So who has lower opportunity cost? South Korea. Okay. Okay. Therefore, South Korea has comparative advantage and iPad. Wait, sorry, not iPad. iPod. Okay, so you see, we literally just use the same template to answer the question. We just change the country, change the goods, change the numbers. Okay, but otherwise, it's the exact same format. People online, any questions? Okay, right. Can we carry on? Okay, let's take a look at 5B. Distinguish between tariffs and import quotas. I think we've done this, right? It's like exact same question. Yeah, it's okay. 5B is the same as 1B. Exactly the same. Okay, just the base. So in 1B, they don't tell you what are the trade restrictions. So if you write tariff and import quota, you will get marks. Okay, that is for 1B. But for 5B, okay, you don't get marks for writing tariffs and import quotas because they told you what they are. Okay, but in this case, you just have to give the exact same answer. Okay, and the marks will be just allocated slightly differently. Okay, but basically same thing. Yes. Okay. Now remember, yeah, for tariff you must so quota is fine. Quota, you just say what it is, how it works. That one's fine. For tariff, you need to remember to not just explain how it works, but also to explain what the different types are. Okay, you have revenue tariff and protective tariff. You need to write those down as well. Okay. So 5B, I won't write it down again because it's exactly the same as 1B. Okay. Now, 6A. Okay. 6A are basically the arguments. Okay. Infant industry, national defense, foreign export subsidy, anti-dumping, and domestic jobs. Okay, the jobs, the five arguments there. So you just have to pick any three and explain them. Okay. Now, this is 9 marks. So it's 3, 3, and 3 because they asked for 3 reasons. So the first mark will usually, in this case, the first mark will definitely be what is the argument. Okay. So you say, for example, your national defense argument. Second mark, you explain what it is. Okay, we cannot rely on trade for items vital for national defense. That will give you your second mark. The third mark will be from the counter argument. Okay, you know, on the lecture slides. All right, let's take a look. Let me talk back to that. Yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, when you're around campus, be careful, yeah, okay? For whatever reason, a lot of mosquitoes. Like it's like if you don't catch COVID, you'll catch dengue or something. So be careful. Like I was standing outside there, okay, because there was a class in here before. in 2 minutes, I killed 5 mosquitoes. No joke. I was counting, and it was a bit scary. Yeah, so do take care of yourselves when you're around campus. Right, let's take a look at the slides here. Then I can show you how the marks are given. Lecture 13. Okay, right. Should we pick this one? Okay, yes, we can pick this one. My pen is closed so that I don't draw on the screen. Okay, so if you write this, 1 mark. Anti-dumping argument, 1 mark. You explain this bit, 1 mark. You don't need to give the example. Okay, no need the example. But you should tell this part. Okay, this bullet point and this bullet point. This will give you the 2nd mark. The 3rd mark is this. Okay, this is the 3rd mark. Now, when you write this part, okay, when you write this part, don't just copy the slide. Add but. Okay, add a but here, and then you write the sentence. Then it will be clear you understand what's happening. Okay. So basically, you just have to pick any 3. Make sure you also include the thing with the star. Okay, the part with the star. That is what we call the counter argument. Then you will get your 4 marks. Okay. But in this case, the example no need. Okay, the example is not needed. It's more important that you explain what it is rather than give an example. Okay, so I think that was question 6. Okay, that was question 6A. B we cannot do yet. Okay, 6B we cannot do yet. Okay, now I think we have 10 minutes, right? We still have 10 minutes. Okay. Okay. I want you all to be honest here. Okay, I want you all to be honest. I will not get mad. How many of you tried the past year questions? Okay, then you pick 1 question that you want me to go over. Yeah. See, people who do their work have their, special advantages. Okay, I asked you to do 2021-05, question 2 and 3, and 2021-10, question 2. Okay, so you can pick 1. Can I wrap this up? Okay, now, don't worry if you haven't tried it yet, okay? Of course, because he has tried, we will go over something, but you can try it later on, okay? Even from all the other questions that I've not picked here, you can ask during the Q&A or you can email me, okay? You can always email me or ask during the Q&A. I haven't sorted out the arrangements yet. I will notify you all on Google Classroom. Okay, which one?
05 question 3.
Okay, right. Okay, let me pull that up. Okay, past year question 05. Couldn't preview file. Okay, right. So I'll just give you a minute to go through the news passage. Okay, so just take a look at that. Okay, and then we will go through the answers. Okay, have you all read the passage? The thing. Okay, now this looks weird. Okay, wait, yeah. I just need to double check. Okay, wait, I keep opening the wrong thing. Okay, right, this is actually very similar to a tutorial question. The key here is you need to look at it and figure out which gap are we talking about. Okay, now you see here, yeah, unemployment rate is very high, 5.3%. Actually, what is considered a high unemployment rate depends on the country. Yeah, in Malaysia, 5% is high. In Europe, okay, think something like Spain, 5% is low. Okay, because for their countries, they are used to a lot of unemployment. Okay, and how you count unemployment actually differs a bit between the country, because for some countries, okay, Grab drivers, Foodpanda delivery, those are not considered fully employed, so they are considered unemployed. But in Malaysia, they would be counted as employed. So again, the measure of unemployment differs a bit between countries. But that's aside. Okay. Now, so in this case, we know it is a recessionary gap. Okay, it is a recessionary gap. All right. Now, for part A, describe the type of unemployment. Okay. Now here, you need to see that the passage basically says the unemployment is because of the MCO. Okay. So in this case, it would be cyclical unemployment. Okay, because we have a recession, therefore you have cyclical unemployment. All right. So this is a 5-mark question. Okay. So okay. Hope no one comes in after this because okay. So 3A, cyclical unemployment. Okay, this will give you 1 mark. 1 mark. All right. Now, so you say it occurs due to recessions. Okay. Now, of course, in the exam, you need to write 2 sentences. Yeah. Occurs due to recessions. Okay. And 0.2 marks. Okay. Now, what does it? And there's also further explanation, right? This is when the availability of jobs is less than the availability of workers. Yes, okay. And then you give an example. How do you see this? Okay. So you see at the top, the second row, it says a lot of businesses shut down and their employees lose their jobs. So that links unemployment to recession, to the COVID pandemic and lockdown. Okay, COVID-19. Okay, and lockdown caused businesses to shut down. And workers will lose their jobs. Okay. So here you get 2 marks here, and your explanation in total is 3 marks. Okay. So 1, 2, and 3. But in this case, relevant explanations will also be accepted. So your example, as long as correct and relevant, you will be given credit. It does not necessarily have to be this. Okay. Okay. Everyone okay? Anyone wants to note it down? Okay, let's carry on with part B. Yeah. Okay. 3 minutes left. Let's see. It's possible. Do you have class after this? Oh, where is it? Okay. Then we have to move fast. Okay, right. I promise to explain the questions. Okay. Now, for part B, okay, discuss any 2 types of unemployment. This is completely unrelated to the passage. Okay, unrelated at all. So there are 2 other types, frictional and structural. You just explain them and remember to give examples. Okay, remember the lecture slide. This person lost their job, okay, but they're waiting to start a new job. Frictional, they have transferable skills. Okay, and structural do not have transferable skills. You just need to give another example. So for part B, it's purely from the lecture slides. You just have to name what the types are, explain what they are, give an example, you will get your full marks. Okay, part C is not a KBAT question. It is not a KBAT question. Now, notice here it says Malaysian government and central bank. So what they're actually saying, remember we established just now we are in a recessionary gap, right? So you just have to do expansionary fiscal policy, explain what it is, expansionary monetary policy, explain what it is, and that's it. Okay? The only question that is actually relevant to this passage is part A. The rest, you just do textbook stuff, taking lecture note stuff. Okay? Now, one thing that you can do, if you try these questions, you write down your answer. If you want me to give feedback, rate them, give you marks, you can email me. Okay? A bit harder if you walk into the Q&A session and ask, like, nah, give me marks. A bit more difficult, yeah? But if you email me, yes, I can write comments, writing down what you missed. Okay? So, yes. So in this sense, the important things are, okay, for this whole question, yeah, the important thing is to identify it is a recessionary gap and you have cyclical unemployment. If you have those two things down, then B and C will be perfectly fine. Okay? Right. So, yes, you should go. Okay? So, thank you all so much for turning up. Okay? Really great to see you all. I will see you all on Thursday. At least some of you. Okay? I will clear up the room, so don't worry. I will turn off the aircon and everything. Okay, so people online, you may go. I will see you all next Thursday. Right, see you. Oh my gosh, yeah. It just walked like the bird would eat you like.
Thank you, sir.
Right, see you.